I forgot it was Friday the 13th, right? Ladies, I don't know what is more creepy, being disillusioned and delusional about your community. It's a hot ass mess. Friday the 13th is one of my favorite series, right? Even the show, all the movies, but the show as well. But ain't nothing scarier than a delusional mammy and her son making these communities what they are. Hey, VN training, yes, Jason's mask took black men out of the home. Barry Griffin is up in this bitch. Lady Posh is here. I'ma tell him is here. Sexy Butterfly, how you doing? Bella Goff, off up in here. Y'all, when you hear somebody saying, hey, it's dangerous in the black community, what are they saying? I'll tell you what they're saying. They're saying the men there are violent. The men there will rob you. You don't need to go places by yourself. You're in danger. You're in danger. Nobody's thinking that women and children are going to fuck them up. Although I am seeing a change with the kids. Okay. Folks 8 and up are becoming their fathers that aren't there. Okay. Ain't nothing more scary than a mammy that loves her son. Nothing is more scary than that. I wanted to show y'all a clip real quick. If you know a mammy and she has a son, grab your purse and leave. You cannot talk to her. You can't reason with her. You can't have a conversation about anything because all she cares about is if her son is going to make it, if her son is going to be treated fairly, if her son is protected, if her son is considered. When you breathe, he needs to be considered. Even if he's taking somebody off the planet, she'll let you know, no, he didn't. I raised him better. Let's go.
I know my son didn't do this. He is a very caring young man.
He is guilty of murder, guilty of kidnapping. He's guilty of possession of a during the commission of a violent crime.
He's a good person, very respected, and respect others. And I talked to him yesterday, and he told me, he said, that wasn't him, and I believe him. He said, that's not him.
I know I'm innocent. But I guess what I know and what I think really doesn't matter.
They have accused our son of a crime that he didn't commit. You know,
I'm not going to hear
all right,
any claim of innocence.
Okay.
He's been convicted by the jury.
Okay. You raise your child in the right way. You would know when that child had done something or did something right or wrong. And I know he didn't do this.
There were 1,000 roads. Each road left to you.
These are y'all people. These are y'all's people. You know, that little old lady, because that's what she is to me. She looks like a little old lady. She can come off very, very harmless. And I know she resembles some of the women in you guys' family. Love them to death. But nobody can put their hands or call her son anything but he's a good boy. If you go to the story regarding Samantha, he tortured this woman, okay? Simply because she ended up getting in the wrong car. There was a ton of DNA evidence all over this man's car because, you know, he got a little freaky. This is what we're dealing with. So when I tell you mammies are dangerous, I mean that very thing, okay? They are just as dangerous as the Dusties in whom they protect. I want you guys to understand something. When you listen to people doing lives or whatever, and they're talking about how we're always talking about one thing, That one thing is very, very important to me, and that is the safety of Black women. But what they'll tell you is all they talk about is Black men. Problem is, the person that puts you in danger the most is Black men. So there's no way to do this without mentioning Black men. If they don't care anymore, that's fine. Don't talk about it. You want to talk about love and light? That's your right. But what you're going to do is respect my right to be able to tell Black women, listen, you need to go. You need to get your shit and go. You need to get your heart off your sleeve and walk away as quickly as possible. There's a lot of things that you stand to lose by trying to pretend as if your men are just as good as other races of men. The fact of the matter is they're not. They're not. We're going to get into that more this evening on this beautiful Friday. Happy Friday, by the way. You stand to lose nothing leaving that community. You stand to gain everything leaving that community. These people are at the top of the list of every degenerate act you can think of. And on top of that, they're at the top of the list of every goddamn negative health issue, violence, family situations, industry, infrastructure, education, all of that shit. So here's my question. What is the solution, fair and balanced people? You could talk about it if you want to, but what's the solution, fair and balanced people? The ones that don't want to come off as being, extra mean and mean girl and don't want to come off extreme. They tell you that it's extreme to save your life. And I beg to differ. Honestly, I beg to differ. When someone tells you that it's extreme to save your life, that means that they don't give a fuck about you. Let's just keep it real. I would never advise any Black woman that I know and care about to keep hope alive. Yeah, it'll be okay. Just get you a gun. It'll be okay. They ain't no worse than any other man. Well, the numbers don't say that. The numbers say the opposite. Point blank, period. Aaliyah, it's on you.
I mean, I'm not surprised by anything I heard. I mean, that's what they do. Their sons didn't do nothing. That's the story, and they're going to stick to it. It doesn't matter how much proof they have against him. Their son didn't do anything. And they will be his alibi, and they will lie for them, and they will cover up for them, and anything else they have to do for their sons. And they know that their sons are terrorists. They know this. So, I mean, like I said, again, I'm not surprised. They can do no wrong to a lot of the mammies in this community, because no matter what they do, somebody's always going to show up and say, well, white men do it too. Or what about when such and such did such and such, and change the subject? It's always about what somebody else did that was 10 times worse than what they did. You can never stay on subject. That's the thing. So, no, I'm not surprised that his mammy was taken up for him, because that's what they do. And that's why I don't trust them hoes either. Ben said that. So, hey.
These are the type of women that will know that their son did something to you very, very egregious and very violent, but will help hide your body. You think I'm bullshitting? They will help hide your body and then come back later and say that they were just trying to be a good mother. It's funny how they'll help hide your body, but end up in a quandary when they have multiple sons that are shitholes. Let's just keep it real. If they got a so-called unicorn there and a shithole son, they're literally stuck in a quandary. They don't know. They'll try to get the so-called unicorn to go ahead and help protect the Dusty. This is what I'm talking about. I am not exaggerating when I tell you these are the type of bitches that'll steal your wallet and help you look for the shit. Period. You know people like that. I know all of you know people like that. But you want to keep loving on them because that's your auntie, because that's your sister, that's your mom, your daughter. Nobody is exempt from being a mammy. Okay? I don't care how nice she is. I don't give a damn how courteous she is, how well spoken, how well traveled and educated. If placed in the right situation, she will mammy on your ass. Shane?
Yes, ma'am. Hello. What I have to say about this is that it's astounding how some of these women will go through hell and high water for their sons, but won't lift a finger to help their daughters.
Period.
And and then when they're on their deathbed, they go straight for, they're calling the daughters. And that's what makes me the most upset. Maybe I wouldn't be as upset, not to say that you should cover for your child when you know they're wrong, but if they would at least extend some of that courtesy to their damn daughters, I mean, that would at least she would say that she was protecting both of her children the same. And that's what bothers me. The daughters could do the smallest little thing or not do the smallest little thing, and they're kicked out of the house. Or, she graduates with a master's and not a Pete, but the little thun, comes home from jail and they're throwing him fucking welcome home parties. It's ridiculous. It's ass backwards, and it's a shame.
I don't know what be on these people's mind. I really, really don't. All I know is they're delusional as fuck, and it's best to just walk away from them to save your own life. Ladies, your life means something. You don't have to sacrifice. You don't have to go ahead and throw yourself in front of bullets for these people. They're showing you that they won't do it for you. Okay? Because if somebody would have shot that woman's son, she would have wanted justice, to the point where she was out here stomping the damn yard, and there would have been a whole bunch of mammies out there with her stomping the yard if the roles was reversed. Okay? What's going on, Miss Ebony?
Well, I mean, this is the same old song, and it's not slowing down. I really see this as domestic terrorism on a whole different scale. You see what I mean? And sometimes what about that woman's that had a mother? That young lady had a mother. She was actually trying to do the responsible thing and just made an egregious mistake. And she was too drunk to feel the hairs lift them on the back of her neck. Okay? She did nothing to no one. Okay? So here's the thing. I think a lot of us have a problem admitting what we see.
Yep.
It's different if you didn't see it. It's different if, let's say, you lived in a gated off community in Palm Springs or Beverly Hills. Okay, I got it. But once you can watch a television set and they're speaking English, you can't say that you don't even see then. So the stuff is right in front of us, and it's like, hear no evil, see no evil, do no evil. I mean, okay. Black women, you are being trained for self-destruction.
Facts.
That is what you're being trained for. You are to aid and abet the domestic terrorists in your family and your life, in your neighborhood, to wipe you out, to scrub your existence from the earth as if it never mattered. And they're out here doing the most. They're domestic terrorists. But I'm sorry, I don't want to hear that crap about, oh, this is how I was raised. Well, you got sense enough to see what facts are, right?
Girl.
You don't even have to see these statistics. Oh, the statistics are racist. Well, what about Demarius knocking somebody in the head right in front of you? You didn't see that either? What about your sister's head? What about your mama's head? So that's what I'm saying. You are basically enabling the destructive forces of these domestic terrorists to go off like a bomb in Nagasaki. And they're flattening every damn thing.
Look at what's going on. I mean, seriously, look at what the fuck's going on. If you're not going to leave just, for the violence or whatever, think about, just use your actual head and not your heart. What on earth would you ever have to go to the Black community for once you do leave? There's nothing that the Black community makes that the world needs. And that's a dangerous situation to be in. Nobody needs the Black community for absolutely anything. I mean, anything. Nothing you do or use day to day comes from Blackistan. It just doesn't. Right
Even
now,
in Africa, they have it. They have all the stuff for your cell phones. They got the gold, they got the platinum, and what?
but they're conquered, so they don't own that land.
Exactly.
They don't own that land. It could be diamonds, wall to wall diamonds. They don't own them. They'll gather them up, make them, pick them, and of course, the men in that community are so goddamn weak. They're gonna recruit extra hands to come pick the diamonds and give it to another area. So what I'm telling you is, go ahead and leave that area. Go ahead and leave that area. They are acting like some bad bitches right now. Hell, they want to be the bad bitch. Y'all have been taking care of them for so fucking long. They're calling themselves bad bitches. Dead ass serious. A lot of these corporations and shit, they're leaving the community. They're leaving the Black community because the crime is ridiculous. And it costs more to operate those businesses than it does in safer communities. On top of that, I saw a story earlier this week where in rich areas, those apartment buildings are becoming unsafe as well, because you got your rappers and people with a couple of dollars that can afford to live there on paper, but they haven't changed their behavior. So you're seeing shootings in luxury high rises. I shit you not. We have here one in Buckhead, okay? And they're experiencing gun violence in one of the most expensive condominium buildings that Georgia has. Okay, so here's the deal. You got to eat, you need shelter, you need clothes, you need all this shit here. Take a look at your screen and look at what the Kangs did for your only neighborhood grocery store.
New at 6, a crime forces one of the few grocery stores in an Atlanta neighborhood to shut down entirely for several days. Thieves stripped the copper wiring and also damaged the electrical circuits that power the Kroger on Metropolitan Parkway. That's near Cleveland Avenue, as you know.
So that's in East Point, Georgia. You know, all the songs that come from Atlanta rappers, right? Always referencing East Point and Decatur and all that shit. You can't even put a grocery store, because remember, Mammy's was complaining about their areas being food deserts, right? So the government was like, okay, they might have a point. Let's put a grocery store there. But them sons you keep shitting out is still in the copper wiring to the point where they can't even keep your food refrigerated. People are getting tired of you.
Caitlin Ross explains how it has left a lot of people who live nearby without many other options to get fresh food as part of our continuing Voices for Equality series. Caitlin.
There's caution tape surrounding the entrance and a turned over grocery cart out front, and will assign direct shoppers to other Kroger stores in the area. The closest one is more than 4 miles away.
That's crazy. That's crazy. It's getting terrible out here. It really is. Well, you can't go to the grocery store.
Shoppers pulling up at the Kroger on Metropolitan Parkway were frustrated Wednesday to find the grocery store chain closed.
It's ridiculous because we don't have any.
You see what I'm saying? You're the face of this shit. Now, do you think the people that stole the copper wiring look like her? Or you think somebody came from another community to do that? So your problem is like a dog eating its ass. You keep having them. Then you keep having this so-called food desert. They give you something, and the dudes that you having, the dusties that you're having, are fucking up the community. Not only are they not building, they fucking the community up as well. They're taking everything. And you sitting up here basically, you know, trying to appeal to outsiders, quote unquote, to come and do something about it. No, the tables are turning here. People are starting to look at you, mammies. Right? They're starting to look at you and say, well, this is ground zero. This is where the problem's happening.
Anywhere else in the area.
The closest grocery store to this location is a Walmart about a mile up the road. The closest Kroger is more than 4 miles away. And while these shoppers had cars, they worried for those who don't and depend on this location to get fresh food.
It's definitely insane. Wow. What are we going to do now?
What are we going to do now? God forbid you turn around and ask the Dusties in that neighborhood, since y'all fucked up the only grocery store, y'all need to build one. Period. That's not a question. When does the first brick go down? When does the first permit get applied for? You looking for others to come and undo your mess.
Actually,
why not try to knock this shit off and quit having these motherfuckers?
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, come on. This is stupid as fuck.
The city of Atlanta tracks access to fresh food. The areas shaded in the crosshatch on this map are defined as low income, low access.
Of course.
Meaning many people who live there are more than half a mile away from a fresh food option. A report published by the city found Black and senior citizen residents were more likely to live in these areas, and ensuring access to fresh food should be a priority.
This is my store. This is the store I shop at.
The city publishes a map that shows residents the closest places to get fresh food and includes farms, grocery stores, and farmers markets. Shoppers here say that information is critical.
I can't think of another one.
A spokesperson.
Notice this is all Black women.
Yep.
All of them.
Yep.
All of them are a little bit older. So you know if they have children and if they have a son, he is at the age of the people that stole that copper wiring. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? This type of news report would have tugged at heartstrings 10, 15 years ago. But now you getting ready to starve, motherfucker. You getting ready to starve. These corporations are leaving the area, never to turn back. So however you got to get your groceries, that's how you're going to have to get it. You're going to have to take your ass on the bus. The thing is, it's unreasonable to even ask mammies, hey, why don't you ask them niggas that you rolling around in a fucking bed with to make sure you can eat after you afterglowing, you dumb bitch.
DZ,
Man.
the sad part is they can actually do that with a food co-op. The problem is, in order to do that, the insurance would be too high.
Yeah, because of the area.
Yes, it would be too high. You have to pay business insurance. And how really?
I mean, this problem is not new. This is something that's been going on, I would say, at an increasing rate since about 2020, as far as, but anybody who has ever worked in any type of loss prevention, they can tell you that theft and robbery are the biggest reasons these stores don't even want to be bothered with, setting up in Black neighborhoods. I mean, of course, since we are incapable of taking responsibility for anything, we have to create a fancy name for it and call it supermarket redlining or something like that.
Right.
But the truth is, it's the rampant shoplifting and trashing of their stores repeatedly, as well as the harassment of the store's employees, is why they are abandoning these neighborhoods. I mean, nobody's going to keep investing their money and taking all of these losses, and I saw where all of this was headed back when they did all of that looting and rioting, back with, Freddie Gray and George Floyd and all the other ones. They was burning down shit, and you had dummies like Tamika Mallory's ignorant ass all over national television talk about, so what? They have insurance. We don't care and all of this shit. And it's like, you're damn right. And you just gave them a reason to file their claims, get their payouts, and go rebuild in a decent neighborhood far the hell away from the likes of you. And you can call it racist, but it's smart business to me, because I, as a business owner, wouldn't continue to keep taking losses just so you won't call me racist.
That's a fact.
Aaliyah, what about those Black babies who need formula?
Don't make me say that on this live. Don't make me say that on this live stream. Y'all pushing me in a corner. Don't make me say that on this live stream. Just use your imagination. Okay? I want to show y'all one more store, millennials, your avocados, and all your food, your meat substitutions and all of that shit. A lot of you in Gen Z and some in Gen X love Whole Foods, right?
Whole Foods is announcing plans today to close 2 Chicago stores, one by DePaul, the other in the Inglewood community.
The store in the Inglewood community opened just 6 years ago in a brand new state-of-the-art facility here at 63rd and Halsted. The city of Chicago spent millions prepping that land for development. CBS 2's Tara Molina joins us live. Tara, this is a big hit to the community.
It sure is. Jim and Erica, this Whole Foods really means something to people who live here in Englewood. It's the only healthy option in this area. It's the only store like it in this area.
Only.
So with it leaving, the community that was so proud to welcome it here just years ago is left asking, what's next? The Whole Foods grand opening in Englewood looked more like the scene of a concert, big game, or mass giveaway back in 2016. Sounded like it too.
I am so happy.
I'm finna get petty.
Don't get petty.
Let me
You
start
ain't
and
right.
pause
You
again.
ain't right, Easy.
Look, let me stop and pause again.
This morning I got up at
I can't do this. I can't do this shit. Do you hear me?
Oh, God.
Y'all gonna quit fucking with me. Y'all gonna quit fucking with me. That's what you're gonna do. Y'all get your shit and get the fuck out of these communities. Okay? Of all the people in the store, this is the representation. Do you understand? Y'all, I'm not gonna do this on here. I'm not. It's Friday night and I'm feeling real goddamn good.
at 5 o'clock to get here.
Jesus Christ. Let's go, y'all.
It feels awesome. It is.
This y'all. This y'all. Ain't nowhere else to go. The chick that was doing the report said this was the only option for fresh foods. And guess who's fucking everything up? Your sons. Let's go.
It's a dream come true.
But if you're still watching this, wondering why a grocery store closure is a news story, there's a whole community
Look at
here
that
not
shit.
so happy to tell you why. The news hit hard here today.
Yes, I am shocked that they're closing.
The first store like it on the city's south side, this meant something to the community. A community that at the time was living in a food desert.
It's only a big loss.
God damn.
Katrina Faulkner was here on that big opening day. She walks here to shop. Her friends walk here to work. She says while it's nice Whole Foods is willing to place Englewood employees in other stores, it's not that easy for everyone.
And those that don't have cars and really a lot of transportation, it's harder. But
we looked at it as a long-standing relationship.
There's your activists. Why does this movie keep playing? Why is the movie the same all the time? How the people that need it always look the same, and then the activist is always a black woman, right? So they standing in front of these news crews, basically saying, hey, don't take our food. There ain't gonna be no way to get our food. Well, how did you get those babies? That baby looks to be about 2 months old, which means about 11 months ago, you was doing the shit log roll. So why is there no way to get the formula and all that shit again? How on earth do you give your body to somebody that can't give you food security? What?
That's community leader Aisha Butler. She told us there are other grocery stores in the neighborhood now, but still.
We have very, very limited access to smoothies, to fresh fruit, to a bright lit store.
This is one of 6 Whole Foods stores closing nationwide, one in Lincoln Park, following what the company calls a regular evaluation of performance and growth value of all of their stores. Expected to close in the coming months. So what could take its place? A bigger question when you consider how this came to be. The land this mall sits on used to be city property. The city spent $10 million in TIF money to prepare it for construction. Then, according to a spokesperson for Chicago's Planning and Development Office, quote, approximately 5 acres were sold to the developer of Englewood Square for $1.
$1 fucking dollar. Let me tell y'all something. I don't want to hear about racism. I don't want to hear about these little pockets of little things that's happening on the individual level. They tried. But your community couldn't make it. Your community wasn't able to maintain. Let me tell y'all something else. I don't know if many of you know this, because I see a lot of these folks that's on entitlement programs talking about we spending money here. You need to treat it. Blah, blah, blah. Darlings, when you spend on entitlement programs, i.e. food stamps, the store that you're spending it at does not receive the dollar. They receive cents on the dollar, because that's the contract that you have to sign if you want to be able to take government programs. Did you know that? So you cussing everybody out except for that nigga, right? Y'all taking our money. That place came and gave jobs and fresh food. And look at what's happening. I don't know why there's a Whole Foods in Inglewood to begin with. I really, really don't. I don't. This is ugly. Shit and get the hell up out of there. Quickly. Welcome to the panel, Miss Kyra. How are you?
Good evening, DZ. Good evening, ladies.
Hey.
Well, earlier you were mentioning about the Atlanta story about, the Kroger. And like how mammies always like to talk about rebuilding Black Wall Street and all that shit?
Mm-hmm.
They never want to address the real issue, why we can't have Black Wall Street. It's because of the cicadas. For me to go into a business, I need to be able to get in and out of your store safely without a lot of bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? In black communities, your sons make that impossible. You, Ali, and I live in the Atlanta area.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason why we should have to go to Pitty Pat's Porch for Southern food in Atlanta. But we have to go to a white woman's restaurant. No shade. Because
see, they didn't know that Pitty Pat's Porch wasn't even Black owned in Atlanta. The shit, she's not making this up.
It's not Black owned. We should not have to go to Pitty Pat's Porch. And yes, that's referencing Aunt Pitty Pat from Gone with the Wind. We shouldn't have to go there when we have all this rich Black history supposedly in Atlanta. But why do we have to go there if we want Southern food or if we have relatives from out of town? Because of your dangerous, degenerate sons make it impossible to have businesses in a Black community.
Nobody wants to put anything there. It's not because of racism, you stupid mammy bitches. It's not. They would like to be able to go and make it back to their car without being snatched upon, sexually harassed, all that good shit, threatened, followed, being creeped the fuck out. It ain't got nothing to do with it because corporations want to make money no matter how they get it. But you've made their safety, there's that word again, safety, more of a goddamn issue than making money. When you can do that to a corporation, you have performed a miracle. So congratulations, pat yourselves on the back for that shit. This is ridiculous.
Candy from Real Housewives of Atlanta, she has a restaurant, and that restaurant, she tried to do the whole, build up Black businesses and shit. Her restaurant is notorious for getting your car broken into. So you go park your car, go eat at her restaurant, you come out, someone's already busted up your windows. That's the sort of shit we're talking about.
Didn't somebody shoot one of those restaurants up?
Yep.
Yeah, somebody shot one of her restaurants up. That's why I said, I appreciated what she was trying to do, but it wasn't. It ain't wise. It wasn't a wise business move, not to me. But I get what she was trying to do by opening up all these restaurants in the different areas around the ATL. But I mean, I'm not sure if it was the smartest business wise to do it that way.
Anything that's servicing Black folks is a hot mess. It is. It's the culture. It is the culture. Anytime you turn around, there's something degenerate happening. Y'all, I can't review the one video I had here. I'm going to do that on Patreon. This lady is putting tattoos on a baby. I shit you not. We'll go there later. But honey, I'm telling you the truth. Anything that services the community is going to have issues. It's going to cost more because of the thefts, and you have to hire security. You don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. You can't say, well, maybe I can cut back on the security and then, my bottom line won't be affected. No, you're going to have to not only hire security, they need to be off-duty police officers with some training, not just somebody that's, looking to have a job.
Oh, DZ, I forgot. Would it be okay if I expounded upon, your sentiments about that formula?
What formula?
Remember earlier in the video you were talking about the shortage of formula?
That was me. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ebony.
That was me.
Sorry, Ebony. May I expound upon that, DC?
Yes, ma'am.
Over here we say #all. And a few lives ago we said from the NICU to the grave. Fuck the formula. They don't need it.
Lord have mercy. Fuck the formula. Y'all, I try to keep it a little little PG-13 over here for the most part. And yes, God damn it, this is my form of PG-13. Okay, you can ask anybody up here. The rated R is a hell of a lot harder. But I'm not feeling anything for these kids. Yes, ma'am.
DZ, honey,
This
so
is
if since
PG-13. She
so
mentioned some kids up here, and I'm of the opinion that that's their problem. Those children are not your problem.
Exactly.
Dismiss all of that. Oh, the kids are innocent. Y'all don't think Blackistan know that y'all say that? So they sit up and have a whole bunch of babies so you can look at them like they innocent, and they kind of slide in with it. They shoehorn themselves into the innocent category. Start with the tears, right? But 9 months ago, the tears was coming because your ass was busting a real good nut in the front of a shit log. I just don't feel nothing no more because you keep going back.
Well, since Tyra did say F the formula, then just F the community.
All day.
All day. All day long, everywhere. Because basically, no community of any sort will survive if the children are being preyed upon, the women are being preyed upon, the elders are being preyed upon, and there's no provision of anything. Food, clean water, whatever, medical care. Okay, so basically, I say it again, they let these domestic terrorists basically trick you guys out of everything. Now it's food. Now it's food, and it's your lives. Okay. They don't mind snatching black kids off the streets there, do they?
Man.
You're letting these domestic terrorists, and that's what they are, amplified. You're letting them destroy you. So, ladies, before it all just falls down around you, and because it's falling really quick.
It is.
Leave.
Poison Ivy, welcome to the panel. How are you? What you got?
Can you hear me?
It's kind of fuzzy, but just try and speak up, and I think we will be all right.
Okay, what about now?
You got a lot of static, my sis.
Okay, I'm gonna try again.
Okay, go out, come back in. And if you're wearing like ear pods or whatever, take those off and come back.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I'm not doing this. I don't care. I used to care about the kids. But how much do the mammies care about the kids if they keep birthing them in these type of communities that are food deserts? There's no way that you can get me to have raw sex with you if I don't know that everything is going to be okay. I don't know how they do it. They already know that the dude is probably going to leave. The statistics say he's probably going to leave. You're going to be doing this on your own. And as soon as you see the West News crew pull up, you running up there with that plastic ass wig talking about y'all need to do something about this. And Aaliyah was saying earlier, before we even cut the live on, that they feel entitled. No, the men in your community, this is their responsibility to do. Is it nice when they bring something, the people from the outside of the community? Sure. It's absolutely nice to have a new store built in your community, but it's not their responsibility to do so. That's the part y'all can't get through that thick ass wig. It's just a kind gesture because the place is not going to make a whole bunch of money, not off you, not the way y'all steal and carry the fuck on. So they just give you a name brand stores to shut you the fuck up. And then here you go stealing the copper wires, or your son did it. One of the damn other.
But
Go ahead, baby.
I'm so sorry. Excuse me.
No, you're good. Hit it.
Well, what you were saying, if you're not going to at least even build anything in your community, the least you can do is make your community safe where other people will want to do business in your neighborhood.
Well, that means that they would have to pull their neighbors to the side and say, you know, we're not going to deal with you. We're not going to do anything with you until there's a safe place to do it. But they're not willing to do so because slavery. We have to be get the reparations rolling. It's not their responsibility to build a community because we wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for y'all. And that ain't gonna get your ass nowhere. Y'all please don't try to negotiate with mammies because that's their mindset. All you can do is grab your shit and leave. Period. Anyway,
don't look back either.
Oh, hell no.
Don't look back. Because because when you try to keep a little thread, oh, that's my auntie, that's my son. They have a wonderful way of pulling you down further than you were. Okay, so just don't look back. And my problem is, you know, they leave. Some of them will leave, but then they get lonely and they go back. They get, oh, this is hard, and then they go back. Okay, you know what? Okay, being lonely and a little bit of a divestment, yeah, that's hard. But I'm sorry, somebody upside my head, that's harder.
Dr.
Not
Mordecai,
being
I don't know what you mean by what you put up here. I'm gonna ask you what you mean, and I'm also gonna ask you to click the link. What do you mean? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Click the fucking link so you can straighten me out. Come gather me. Poison Ivy, it's on you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you sound a little bit better.
Okay, great. All right. Hi, DZ. Hi, ladies.
Hey, what's up?
Okay, so like I run a small scale herb farm, right? And in an effort to like grow my business, I signed up for an urban agriculture class to get my USDA certifications.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know it's in Blackistan, of course, because it's urban agriculture. And like you mentioned with the food deserts, these mofos literally broke into our farm and stole our rainwater barrels, y'all.
I can't. I don't mean to laugh. I don't mean to laugh, but I can't do this.
They stole what?
Our rainwater barrels. So we try to like, do the natural thing with, watering everything with rainwater instead of, faucet water because, it contains like a lot of mercury and things like that, right? Rainwater barrels. They stole them from our farm.
Wow.
And it's literally like the only farmers market in the area. So of course, we would like to keep everything organic and what have you not. So now we're using the water from the fire hydrant until, we get more from our program in order to collect rainwater.
They will steal anything that's not nailed down.
I'm telling you, the thing is, I don't even care if them niggas eat. I don't. Because let's just keep it real. They don't care whether they eat or not.
Right. Personally,
they
I don't care. I'm only there for my certification, but the mere fact they broke in to steal some rainwater barrels. I mean, like we bring our own guns onto the farm because they will try it with us while we're on there as well. And all we're trying to do is grow food that we'll sell at the farmer's market for you.
I wish I would grow a goddamn thing for one of them. I wish I would. When people don't own something, they don't appreciate it.
They sure don't. They don't.
Whenever they're borrowing, you ever seen somebody borrow someone else's car? They doing rolling stops at stop signs. They peeling off real fast, hitting curves and shit because it's not their car.
Right.
If they don't own it, they won't take care of it. That's why all those little projects or whatever, they got graffiti on the walls, piss in the hallway, all that shit like that because they don't own it.
Right. So please don't with the food desert thing because they don't care. They don't care at all.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I would like to address that food desert thing as well. Like even when Black people try to do something, they can't keep it open because in my state and not too far from where I live is, a food desert, and a black married couple opened a small little grocery store in this food desert, wanting to help out the community. And I think that they were open less than a year because they couldn't, people started stealing and everything the second that they opened up, and they were robbed like, I don't know how many times. I'm like, even when your people try to do something, you fuck it up. And it's just ridiculous.
So now I know how those Korean hair supplies people feel.
What you mean?
Well, here we had a Black owned hair beauty supply place. Really nice lady, just a wonderful selection. And I walked into her store one day and I said, "You're closing?" She says, "Yes, honey, I'm closing." I said, "Why?" The very same thing, theft. She says, I can't keep my business open. And she says, basically, a lot of the Black people will not come. And when they do, you have to nail stuff down.
Well, here's the deal with the hair supply situation. That industry is basically owned by Asians, and the stuff at the Black owned ones is a lot more expensive than the other ones. So with Black folks, they'll sit up here and say, "Oh, we want to grow the community. Oh, we want, economy and all this shit." But if it's a difference between $20 on the wig you got your eye on, they gonna go and get it for the cheap. They don't give a damn who own it. These people that claim they care about that community don't care about it because it would not be what it is if they did. To start, mammies would quit having sex with niggas. They would immediately, because nobody deserves your body that can't, feed you, clothe you, house you, all that type of shit, provide safety and shelter and all that shit. What are you trying to prove here? All it says to me is that you don't give a fuck. So why should I give a fuck? Why should black women that actually have something stay in that community? And the people, the celebrities and shit that sit up and say, oh, I come back, I give back. But notice that they don't live in those communities. They haul ass because they know how dangerous it is. So they being disingenuous with black folk need help. No, they don't. They need a goddamn moral code. And they need to quit birthing these children that they can't take care of. Real shit.
Wow.
Tony K in the chat said that people started a fire in Target so that they could shoplift in peace in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
What?
I can't. So when the Target shut down, you're gonna be standing there talking about Target wastes. They that's the only one we got up in here and they leaving. Hell yeah, I would leave too. Fuck you mean?
Make sure you put your wig on before you know.
Well, them wigs be plastic, so it was a fire in that building. You better take that plastic ass wig off before that fire come on. You're gonna be sitting up there looking like a fucking cue ball. Keep it up. Anyway, on top of that, crime. Y'all already know what is happening with the crime numbers. Crimes are going up in every Blackistani town without exception. Without exception. Let me show y'all a clip real quick, and then we get ready to drag some goddamn more. Get your ass away from these niggas. Please and thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and drop down.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Thank you for coming up, Poison Ivy.
Thank you.
The first step in solving a problem is recognizing there's a problem.
Tonight, we want to come together as a community and discuss the rise in violent crime across the Piedmont Triad. 2 Wants to Know's Ben Briscoe found the hard facts we all need to hear.
Firing up the TV sheds light on the growing problem. A fight at a kids' football game leads to shots fired and a police chase in Winston-Salem. You're not imagining it.
New details about an officer-involved shooting in Greensboro.
Every time you watch the news,
right now the Greensboro Police Department is investigating yet another shooting.
There's more violent crime in our community.
The people drove down the street, just started shooting, and all I can hear my son is telling everybody, get down, get down.
Tracy Dent was right next to her son Jonathan, outside at a family gathering in Winston-Salem, when she says about 30 bullets were aimed right at them.
First of all, Fair, you. Second of all, who you think shot him? Do you think some white folks came in that community and did that? You think some of the Paco and them, you think they came and did that? Or do you think the person looked like her goddamn son? You already know the answer.
They came out and told us that he did not make it, and I lost him. I completely lost it. I cry all the time behind doors, just thinking about him, looking at his children, growing up without him.
As time passed, things got worse.
I also lost my daughter, lost her kid's father.
Jalen was killed in another drive-by shooting.
I was still grieving my son, and then this came along. So we've been through a lot.
And about a month ago, Tracy's cousin's wife was shot by a stray bullet while sleeping in her own bed.
When it's
So, ladies, you can't stay there. The person that was shot was sleeping. They weren't out doing anything. They weren't, they weren't out causing trouble, partying, drinking, acting a fool. They were asleep. I say that to say this: there's nothing that you can do but leave. That's why I get so aggravated with a lot of folks that talk about this shit, but then when you say, hey, let's not fuck with them anymore. Oh, no, that's too much. That's too much. Well, what the fuck is the solution? Because homegirl was in the bed asleep. What's the solution? You can't even go to bed. What are you talking about? I know y'all get tired of talking about crime. I know y'all do. But all I have is the urgency and the passion to get y'all up out of those communities. And it's getting to the point, y'all, where even leaving the communities, I just told y'all about the luxury high-rise building that's having shootings there too. Sometimes just leaving ain't enough, but leaving is a start. It's a start. The last thing you should be doing is any activism, any interviews, any interventions, any of that shit, because you can't help them. Nothing is going to change. I don't care what dream you had. I don't care what the tarot card said. I don't care about none of that shit. There's nothing that you can do. And I'm telling you straight up, in plain English, there's nothing that you can do. And furthermore, as a Black woman, why would you want to? You are the least valued in that community. They do not like you. And all they want to do is mule you. And volunteering to be a mule is some of the craziest shit I ever heard. It's on you, Aaliyah.
I mean, there isn't really much that I can say at this point, because we've been talking about this for months, that they are problematic, not just in one particular neighborhood. This shit is spilling out into regular neighborhoods where there are different races of people, families. It's not just us that this is affecting. And we've been talking about this for a while, even when the bimbos wanted us to shut the hell up and leave it alone and move on. It's like, no, we can't move the fuck on from this, because where there won't be anywhere to move to in a minute, because they're leaving Blackistan and taking this shit outside Blackistan, fucking up perfectly good communities with regular normal people who know how to behave. They're taking that shit to them now. So I mean, it's ridiculous. It just doesn't affect Black people anymore. They're going to regular neighborhoods, fucking up everything for everybody else. And we're just trying to call it for what it is. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it. But the facts don't stop being the facts just because you don't goddamn like it, or because you think it shines a negative light on the men that you love so much. That's your own personal fucking problem. So as long as they continue on to do this bullshit, we have the right to talk about it. So it is what it is.
The First Amendment still stands. All right. They can talk all they want to, but the First Amendment still stands. If they can spew off their rhetoric, we can say whatever we want. And this is why people say, there goes the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I figured it out. Yeah.
I agree. And that's the reason why I've never been on that whole white flight thing and calling those people racist, because they will get the hell on. When too many of us are coming into their neighborhoods, if they can't stop it, they will pack up their shit and get it as far away from us as possible. That's not racist. I don't blame them, because I'm trying to figure out where the hell they going so I can get the hell on too.
That's self-preservation.
Exactly.
That's self-preservation. Ladies, if you guys want to stay in this at this point, you want to stay. Mm-hmm. You want to stay in this mess if you haven't thought about getting up and getting gone.
But you forget we can keep speaking life into them.
Okay, Kyra, you talking about life? I'm gonna knock one of them out right now. I'm sorry, I'm getting upset. I mean, really.
Y'all
I mean,
it's getting. Look at the map that's on your screen. The newscaster was trying to tell you where the safest places were in that state. The screen is covered in red dots. It's basically the entire state. What state is that? North Carolina. North Carolina is looking like New York these days. So if you up in New York and you up in the Northeast anywhere thinking moving down south is going to be a safer option, no, it's not. Especially in Black cities. It's going to be exactly like New York, the place you're trying to run from. The only thing you're going to get is cheaper rent. Barely.
Yeah, my cape, I always had a cape for Black women and children, but that's gotten trashed now. That's gotten trashed.
It's kind of hard for me to even have the cape for Black women and children, because I have seen so much bullshit even with the children. Like,
you going out, Aaliyah?
Okay, I'm sorry.
You back now?
Okay, like even with the children, I have seen the destruction that a lot of these women will sit up and let their children do. You know, even if it's destroying, doing damage to other people's cars and property and everything. Like, you got these women that will let these children run amok and destroy other people's shit simply because they're bored and don't have anything with them to do with them. I mean, we see this shit every summer in certain neighborhoods, do we not? Where they're just bored and they just start doing shit destructive because they don't have anything else to do.
This report is going to go over that as the climate or whatever, the seasons warm up, the crime goes up with niggas. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. He's getting ready to say something about the police, and we'll get to that in a minute because nobody wants to be a police officer now because of all the defunding campaigns. Congratulations, mammies. Black Audacity, are you dusty?
No, I'm not dusty.
Okay, what's up, Black Audacity? What you got?
Hi. Thank you for allowing me up. I would just wanted to add my little 2 cents. So the new excuse, because Blackistan, especially black men, have so many excuses for their behavior, but the new excuse is that they have all these undiagnosed mental health issues, and that's the reason why they're running amok and acting a fool. So in my city, they are building a new state of art mental health ward, a psychiatric hospital. It was supposed to open in January. It hasn't opened yet because it's in the middle, smack dead in the middle of Blackistan, and it's been broken into twice. They've stolen the generators, the piping,
oh my God,
the TVs that were mounted on the wall.
Well, we know they're messed up now.
Yeah, even they even stole the Dynamaps that you do the vital signs and stuff with it.
Oh,
they don't even know what to do with those. Most people don't know how to operate a Dynamap. You got to be shitting me.
No, I'm serious. I went to the open house because I'm also a registered nurse. I went to the open house about 2 weeks ago, and I was like, well, what's going on with the opening? Like, why is this such? Why are you guys so behind? They're like, well, we got broken in twice, and they stole this, they stole that. So now they got armored security.
Damn.
That are there 24 hours to try to protect this building, to try to finally get it open. So now it's supposed to be opening in July, but it's just like you guys are screaming that we need it now. It's the mental health. Our black men, they got post-traumatic and they got PTSD.
From what?
I got PTSD from them. I'm not killing everybody. I'm not stealing mess.
That's just a new excuse. They have undiagnosed mental health issues, so we need more mental health. We need more psychiatrists and therapy and more counseling and things. So they're trying to get this hospital open, but
it ain't gonna do nothing.
I hate to tell them.
It ain't gonna do nothing. Even if they would stop stealing the wiring and shit and the Dynamaps and all of that, it ain't gonna do nothing. And I find it very, very insulting that black people would even say that type of shit, because anytime they diagnose somebody that's not black after they committed a crime with a mental health disorder, they call that a cop-out. So what happened?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Those psychiatrists are not going to want to deal with that. I even if you live in a nice neighborhood and you got insurance out your ass, psychiatrists deal with whom they want to deal with.
Well, it's a county. It's going to be a county.
Even then, they're going to still need.
I work at the county psych ward now, so we have to take the uninsured and underinsured. So they have to take whomever. I work in the emergency department of the psych ward. So we have to take whoever comes there. Yeah, we have chapter 51s come there, 100 times a day. So people are brought there on 3-party petitions on chapter 51s, which is
my God.
So this is going to be the
I have a question. I have a question about your hospital. Okay. So the patient census, is that mostly black people or some of everybody?
It is. We have some of everybody, but it is, I would say, about 75% black.
Oh Lord.
And we take the most violent, because private hospitals don't have to take violent people, but since we're the county hospital, we have to take everybody. So, but we're closing down and privatizing it to this new state of the art building, because our building is about 80 years old. We're trying to move to this new building, but they can't get it open because people keep stealing all the stuff out of it.
See, this is when, here's the thing. If you look in other communities, there's a pact. There's a community pact that you operate and function as a community. There's with the niggas, they do whatever the heck they want to. They basically accost whomever they want to. They take what they want to. It's like they can't follow rules. And if you say, hey, Gloctavius, you need to follow this rule over here, rule number 1, 2, and 3, then that's racist.
Yeah, everything is racist, especially when it comes to the black man. Nothing is racist when it comes to black women. It's just the black men that feel like they are suffering from racism. Nobody else, just them. But yeah,
Real quick, though, you know, they have the Morehouse men. Remember, you guys are gonna need psychologists, psychiatrists, and all of this shit here.
And
the Morehouse men are supposed to be unicorns, and they're coming out of the School of Medicine in that all black male school. Very interesting that they don't want to go take on this goddamn bull.
Thank you.
They don't want to take on that shit, but want to be unicorns.
Yeah.
They are going to expect a white powdered donut Dusty that didn't do so well in medical school to come and take care of their people. That's just how black men operate, period.
It is. I've been doing psych nursing for 7 years. I've never seen a black psychiatrist, a black male psychiatrist. I've seen black.
Am I not surprised?
I've seen black female psychiatrists. I've actually worked with 5, but I've only seen 1 black male psychiatrist, and he's from Nigeria. But I've never seen a black American male psychiatrist ever.
Oh.
I don't even see black male doctors unless they're from Africa originally.
Jesus Christ. This is y'all's community. This is the black community. If it's not victimization, it's excuses and deflection. And who takes the L every time? Black
women.
Goddamn women, followed by the children who are trying. Who they got daddy issues, because remember, homeboy done left. So they're dressing the kids like the daddy that left, and they're just as criminally inclined as the daddy. That place is a hellhole. Baltimore, Detroit, New York City, Los Angeles, Miami, all of these places are trash, and nothing's gonna. Houston, let's not forget the Midwest,
Chicago,
right?
Gary,
Milwaukee.
Detroit, Milwaukee.
Yeah,
Cleveland.
Milwaukee
I'm
is
from
real
Milwaukee, so
bad.
Milwaukee is terrible. Milwaukee is a small Chicago. So many people from Chicago and Gary and Detroit migrated here in the 80s, and their families are still here. And in Chicago, Milwaukee is terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
In Cleveland, the white folks just let the black people have the black side of town.
Well, Milwaukee is segregated like that. Milwaukee, when you're amongst black people, you're amongst black people. It's hardly any integration in Milwaukee. Nobody wants to be around. The thing is, like in Milwaukee, when you talk to white people and you talk to black people, you get a totally different perspective on what they think about Milwaukee. White people that live in white communities will say, Milwaukee is wonderful. You got the Summerfest and the Wisconsin State Fair and all the music festivals. Whereas black people are like, it's the worst city ever to live in. I hate it here. Like, it's dirty, it's nasty, because it's just terrible. And whenever you go in black neighborhoods, it's just terrible. It's terrible.
Nobody will turn to those niggas up in that neighborhood, the black women that are still having them, because I'm telling you, in those Milwaukee hospitals, it's still black women giving birth. So somebody had sex with this motherfucking nigga. So you need to turn, mammy, to your nearest Dusty and tell him to build you something. Folks is tired of you panhandling outside of the community. Lord knows I'm tired of hearing it. I have compassion fatigue, y'all. Big time. I have compassion fatigue. It's almost like when I hear a mammy start whining about what's going on in her community, it damn near irritates me. When I used to feel like tears were welling up. But these days, it's like, girl, shut the fuck up. Nobody wants to hear it. After somebody makes you whole, usually somebody outside the community makes her whole, she's going back and she's going to share the spoils with that nigga.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Black femicide rate has went up 200% in Milwaukee in the last 2 years. It's
What?
like women are being
Oh my
killed.
God.
Black women and their kids are being killed at alarming rates in Milwaukee. Milwaukee is Milwaukee is bad. It's bad.
Whoa.
It's real bad. The young man that was that filmed himself on Facebook after he killed his girl, his baby's mother, and another gentleman, a white guy that tried to intervene and then killed himself. That was Milwaukee. That was just like 2 months ago. There was just
I
another
remember that.
Yeah, that was just a young lady. She was 21. She had broke up with this guy like 2 months before. This was like two weeks ago. She broke up with a young man, and then he came to the apartment. People saw him getting out of the car, walking with an AK-47 and going into the apartment. He kicked in her door and shot her 8 times. That was just 2 weeks ago.
Okay, Black women, they are making sure they trap you in the dumpster fire that they are making. If
I
you
didn't
have
know
8
about
kids,
the
that wasn't
femicide.
did you hear about the woman with the 8 kids got killed?
That was in Wisconsin too. It was either in
God damn.
Yeah, she had
6
DZ.
kids.
She had 8 kids. The oldest was 14. The 2 twins were 2. And there was everything else in between. She had 8 children. She was only 32.
I know there was one recently, the one who was best friends with a young lady, and the young lady, her best friend was trying to get away from her boyfriend. He had shot both of them, and then the best friend ended up in ICU, and the other friend who wasn't dealing with the young man she got out of the hospital and went on about her business, but she was putting on Facebook where she was at certain times. So he ended up with her location, and she had 6 children, and he went and shot her 6 times. And that was just a couple weeks ago, and that's in Wisconsin as well. Milwaukee is horrible for Black women. Even when you try to get away from these men, which
And now Roe v. Wade is going to be overturned, and what are we going to have, litters and basketball teams of kids? Really? There is
Y'all,
no.
I'm gonna end up having my husband build me a bunker. Fuck that shit. Y'all can have. I'll just live under land. Fuck this shit because they're going everywhere and they so violent. They get shot so much. It's almost y'all. It makes sense because I always say they can't stand you, Black women. They can't. So they always go to the most violent option with you. Either that or they're building up to it. The disrespect. The talking to you like you a child, the monitoring you all. These are all red flags. You should not have to ask your mate, can you go somewhere? It's, hey, I'll be back at 6. It's not up for discussion whether I can go or not. Y'all be mistaking all this possessiveness as love from these niggas. And the fact of the matter is they don't love your Black ass. They don't. And as soon as you're not useful, yes. And as soon as you wear out your usefulness, the violence becomes an option. This girl got shot 6 times, like her name Tupac.
Yeah,
What?
and they when here in Milwaukee, I'm pretty sure it was nationwide, when the pandemic started and the kids had to stay home and like a lot of the jobs had closed, that's when it started going really, really increasing, because you got kids at home and women at home with these men that they could usually, get away from for a few hours at work or at school. So they were stuck in the house with these men that were even increasingly violent and upset, probably because they probably were used to going out and cheating and doing their thing while the women and the kids were at school. So now they were irritated that the women and kids were at home, and their violence has dramatically increased.
It wasn't just the domestic violence.
Oh, sexual abuse.
Yes. I felt
everything.
sorry for them babies that was home with them motherfucking niggas that wasn't able to get a break and go to school because the mammy ain't gonna leave them. But they didn't even get that small break that they get when they're gone to school for 6 hours. They in the house with somebody that's waiting for them to finish their lesson. Y'all, 62%. So during the quarantining and all of that shit, it went up because shit like that goes up during times of crisis.
Yeah, when I became a psych nurse, and because we deal with kids, deal with 4-year-olds on up, adults 4-year-old on up to adult, to elderly or whatever. So the horror stories that I've heard from children about being molested, I've literally had to, after the interview, the assessment, had to go and debrief and just cry because the stories are horrendous.
Mind you, the dead godfather said you're not supposed to believe these children. Did I say that right?
You
The dead
sure did.
godfather said you're not supposed to believe these kids when they telling you they being touched. Y'all, they are nuts. they're nuts. And usually when a black man's mouth or lips are separated, he's lying. That's how you know when he's lying, when his lips separate.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, indeed. And the majority of the molestation is coming from the men. I can say
Yep.
some of it is coming, some of them have been molested by women, but the vast majority are men. And
Absolutely.
black women gotta stop. A lot of them are biological fathers, but most of them are like boyfriends. Black women gotta stop bringing anybody around their children and letting anybody babysit and trusting any man just because he, dicking you down. You think that he's gonna be a good role
Why
model.
is why is it always the dick? I wish somebody would do a study. Some scientist needs to do a study on why sex and shit log always gets these mammies motivated. They will do anything for it. They'll do anything for it, up into including being homeless, living in tents, giving up their children for the pleasure of the dude. It just Are their G spots more sensitive than an average woman? I'm just asking because it don't make no fucking sense.
It's really disgusting. It's really, really disgusting when I hear the stories of how these kids are growing up. I'm like, you can't expect somebody who's coming from a household like this to become an engineer, a doctor, a lawyer. It's almost impossible.
Yeah, I agree.
It's almost impossible. So yeah, like you said, stop having them. Yeah, I just want most of these women to stop having them because they know better. When you meet the mothers, you know exactly where the bad behavior from the child is coming from. The mothers be just as bad or not worse than the kids.
Yeah,
But that's all I'm gonna say. But thank you guys for bringing me up.
Of course, thank you, Black Audacity, for joining the panel.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. Gia Mia, are you dusty?
Not anymore. No, I'm not dusty anymore. Hi,
She
DZ.
said not anymore.
Hi, ladies.
Hey, what you got to add? A newly dust-free woman?
I just wanted to say I'm so grateful I found the channel. I love listening to you ladies. I am one of those former hardheads who just refused to leave Baltimore. It's like the city I was born in, the city I was raised in, made my first friends in, and I just kept hanging on. But the last incident that really opened my eyes was when they shot a young woman, 21, Destiny Harris. She was a young woman, a hairstylist, an entrepreneur. They ran up in her hair shop, stole her merchandise. When she contacted the police and tried to get a protective order because she knew who did it, they came back and shot her in the head in front of her 2-year-old.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy. That's nuts. I'm glad that you know that ain't it. People that saying, the not all shit, that's what people that fence it believe, and they want to believe it. Don't get it twisted. They want to believe it because they prefer dusties. They just do. That's all they knew. That's all they want to know. They're not willing to hear anything else, and they turn a blind eye to the stats. So I'm glad you woke up and got the hell up out of there.
Yeah, please never stop getting your message out there. Never stop talking about the violence. Because
I'm gonna keep it going. I don't give a damn what these chicken head chicks talking about. all she talk about is you damn right. Tune in on next Tuesday too. I bet you I still be talking the same shit because my shit don't change.
Thank you so much. That was all I wanted to say. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you for coming up, Gia Mia. Come back again.
Hey, DZ. It's
What's
Mel.
going on, Melanie? How are you?
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Hey.
Y'all know what I'm still laughing about. DZ, what they gonna do with that Welch Allen Dynamap?
A lot of people in the chat don't even know what a Dynamap is, y'all. The Dynamap is that little thing that nurses and sometimes CNAs and patient care techs roll around when they come into your room to take your blood pressure, get your pulse and all that shit. It's the machine that the blood pressure cuff is hooked up to and start squeezing. That's a Dynamap.
Oh, the sex play, I
was there when somebody said that they were stealing them up out of the store. I'm like, they just taking anything. What the hell they gonna do with that?
Girl, Ain't no damn telling. Them bitches probably think that you can do a home BBL with the shit. If I wrap this cuff around my ass cheek and press start, then it'll start squeezing it and my shit'll be amazing for the next Dusty. Hell, I don't know what they're gonna do with a Dynamap.
Them Dynamaps cost about 3 G's a piece.
They do. They do, especially the ones that have the pulse socks on the side. If it's all in one, that bitch is expensive. Who you gonna sell it to once you take it? I think they just...
Or they could get their grandma aunties got high blood pressure.
Girl, they not fixing to do nothing for the women in their family. They gonna try to sell it, but who you gonna sell it to? You don't know no doctors with your dusty ass. They don't know no damn doctors. Y'all, back to this shit here. I want y'all to listen to what they say concerning the weather and cops and say it ain't been said here before. Let's go.
You can search your neighborhood on WFMYnews2.com, but keep in mind, this is not just a local issue.
Unfortunately, the bad news is that, yes, in fact, violence is rising across the country.
Thomas Abt wrote the book Bleeding Out: The Devastating Consequences of Urban Violence and Bold New Plan for Peace in the Streets. He says there's 2 factors most researchers think are driving up crime.
The stress of the pandemic, both on individuals and institutions, is likely partly responsible.
The second major cause is the social unrest that followed the murder of George Floyd. Scholars have 2 theories about why that's led to more violent crime.
The first theory is the theory of depolicing.
There you go, mammies. Depolicing. Now, let's see what it's done to people that aspire to be police officers or were in the middle of their career. Let's keep going.
Police, exhausted by the pandemic, under tremendous scrutiny and criticism, withdrew from voluntary enforcement activity.
That's why you get your ass whooped at the Kroger's, black women. Let me tell you what happens. What he said was, because they are up under so much scrutiny, every move that they make, even if it's an innocent move to say, hey, get your hands off of that thing there. No customers aren't supposed to touch it. You turn it into a federal lawsuit, a civil rights lawsuit that they're going to be named in. By the way, court documents are fucking public. Nobody wants their name associated with violating somebody's civil rights. Are you kidding me? It's crazy that y'all still call the police. Mammies, why do y'all call the police if you hate them so much? Anytime you need them, you call them, but you're saying defund them. Now people aren't signing up for it, which in turn is making your goddamn neighborhoods even more worse than what they were. This is y'all's doing. Let's keep going.
And that lack of proactive policing contributed to the rise in violent crime.
Forsyth County Sheriff Bobby Kimbrough says the unrest has made it harder to recruit and retain deputies.
This thing about cutting resources to law enforcement, which caused a lot of what I call the blue escape. A lot of law enforcement professionals left law enforcement.
And I don't fucking blame them. If every time you call me, I come over here and you got me up under scrutiny trying to see if I'm fixing to do something wrong, bitch, you called me. I got the nigga up off your head, right? Because he was wailing. I got him up off of you. I had to tase him. Had to. You gonna call and tell my boss that I was rough with him? He was being rougher with you than I was with him. I wouldn't sign up for that shit either. And a lot of people that wanted to be cops, high school kids, college kids, whatever, they said, no, we're not going. Then you want to complain when you call them and it take forever to come. Well, ma'am, they're stretched thin. They can't get there in 2 minutes no more. And your dusties work real quick. Your ass will be on the floor before they get there. But hey, you like it, I love it. Let's keep going.
A lot of men and women that typically will come to law enforcement don't see it as the profession they want to go into.
The other leading theory is a theory of delegitimizing, which says basically when communities that have been mistreated by the police for generations witness yet another high-profile incident, they turn inward and they don't use the police or the criminal justice system. So people take things into their own hands. They take the law into their own hands. And unfortunately, more often, those conflicts turn violent, even deadly.
Sheriff Kimbrough adds there are several other issues in our society to consider.
Illiteracy, you have.
Your ass can't read. He can't read, sis. First thing fell out of this dude naked ass mouth was illiteracy. Nobody that's unable to read should not be privy to your coochie. I didn't think I had to say that. I think you should know that, though.
Have hunger. There's so many things that are causing the increase, a plethora of things that are happening that is creating almost a perfect storm.
A perfect storm of near non-stop crime.
I could have very well been gone just like my son out there.
While talking with Tracy, police sirens went by again.
Most of the time I pick up my phone and I contact one of my kids. Are y'all good? Are everything okay? You know, because you just don't know. When you hear sirens, the first thing you think, something that's happened. It could easily be you. You know, just like I never thought it would be me. It could be your children. It could be a family member. We have a pandemic going on with COVID, but we also have a pandemic of gun violence.
We did that interview with Tracy about 2 weeks ago, and since then, another one of her family members has been shot.
Did you hear that? I know y'all was like, what is DZ doing? The video's over. It actually wasn't. Since that interview, another one of her family members got shot. This is Blackistan, y'all. It's Blackistan. Hydro Candor, are you dusty?
Hello?
Hi. Hydro, are you dusty? Your mic isn't working, Hydro. That's a red flag. Get your mic together so you can answer the question. Are you dusty?
Hello?
Okay, Hydra. This is what you do. Leave out and come back in, and I'll let you up. But we got to get that preliminary question done. I got to know if you're dusty. I hear you saying hello, so it might just be a mic issue. So leave out, come back in, and then let me know, is there any dust in the glorious hereafter? All right. It says Kevin Samuels H. I don't know what that other word is because it's cut off by the screen. But Kevin Samuels H, are you dusty?
Hello, DZ. No, I am not dusty.
What's the other word? Because it just got a bunch of dots at the end of that H.
Oh, it's a long name. It's Kevin Samuels Heart Attack.
What you got to add to this with your trolling ass?
I just wanted to add to the piece around what you all talked about earlier regarding food deserts. I live in Oakland, California, and it's been a similar issue. A Walgreens over in Deep East Oakland had to close. It was the only pharmacy, the only drugstore in that particular area because it kept getting robbed. And a lot of Walgreens and CVS's in Oakland are closing because they keep getting robbed. There are no grocery stores. I live in a very Latino neighborhood, and there's probably 7 grocery stores within a mile radius of my home because, again, this community really cares about their people. They care about their families, their women, their children, and so they actually invest in their community. And I just wanted to thank you and all of you on this panel for the work that you're doing. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate you, Kevin Samuels Heart Attack. That's what's up.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and get back into the chat. Thank you.
Okay, thanks again. Hydro, you're back. Let me know. Are you dusty?
No.
Hi.
Okay. Oh, I thought you couldn't hear me. Sorry.
Well, I couldn't at first because your mic was covered up, but now that you've uncovered it, right, I can hear you. So, are you dusty?
No.
You covered the microphone up again. Whatever you was doing a second ago, don't do that. What you got?
Say that. Well, I'm newly divested, but I did have like a slip up, I will say.
Okay. Okay. What was the slip up?
I was on Twitter, and the Jesse Williams Broadway show was on my timeline, and I was like kind of like interested. It was like a weird experience, but I decided to just delete Twitter altogether and just try to like focus on myself.
Okay, so I'm confused, sis. What's going on? You gotta let me know what's going on here.
To say that I just need to get that off my head or my chest or whatever, just to say that, and then I'm back on like the journey and everything. That's what I wanted to say.
Well, that's what's up. Stay on your journey. There's no reason for you to go back to Blackistan. It's like a dog going back to its own vomit. There's nothing there for you at all. You don't need anything from there. I challenge you to tell me one thing that you would need to go back to Blackistan for. Anybody in the chat, what after you leave Blackistan would you need to go back for? One thing. And I'm not talking about shit logs and that type of shit. What would you need for your day-to-day, for your car, for your house? What do you need? Let me see. Bye, girl. Biracials are dusty too. I'm looking in the chat, y'all. A beating. Yeah, everything's pretty much negative. So thank you for coming up and sharing. Don't take your ass back there, sis.
Bye.
Kevin Samuel's heart attack. Did you forget something? Because I see you came back to the studio.
No, sorry. I'm trying to get out. Sorry. Let me get out.
Talk to you later. I don't know what's up with the backsliding with the divestment. I really don't. I can't imagine leaving such a horrible fucking place and then coming back right after that, after experiencing how much more peaceful life is actually outside of Blackistan. But yeah, Jean's in the back. Welcome to the panel, Jean. How are you?
Hey, how you doing, ladies?
Awesome.
Hey, Miss
How are you?
Hello, darling. How y'all doing? When that Negro's funeral?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm great.
Good.
Okay. How you going, DZ?
I'm doing excellent.
Yes. I don't know. Well, when a race of men do not build anything for their people, you can expect food deserts.
Facts.
You can expect for drugstores and clinics and hospitals to close.
Mm-hmm.
You can expect it. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's true.
I don't hate to say it though, Miss Jean. I really don't. It's the truth.
I know it's the truth. It's just and these what is with these mammies, these women are crazy. Like when you started that when that jackass lied and said he was an Uber driver and killed that young girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, his mama talking first thing out of his mama's mouth. He didn't do it. You know he did it.
She knows her son is a bastard, and that's the part that I can't stand, because they know they putting other black women in danger, and that's why I hate
black women in danger. I hate mammies. I can't
stand them. Yes, I'm with you.
I cannot stand them damn women. When anybody know when that Negro's funeral is? By the way,
I haven't heard nothing.
I'm about to make my third mimosa. I've been celebrating since I heard it.
It's G, you something else. Welcome to the panel, Lipstick. How you doing?
Okay. Hi, lady.
Hey.
Hey, DC, I said I wasn't gonna hit the link today, but when I it seems like every time you go live, we get these backsliders that's coming in. I don't know what's going on. Is it backslider season? What's going on?
Did they ever really leave, or were they just fence sitters to begin with?
Yeah.
That's my question. Did they really leave? Because if you actually left, you wouldn't go back. That's like being freed from jail and then returning back to the damn prison because it's dinner time. The fuck?
Now, DZ, you know that sounds just like what these cicadas do.
Okay.
They get released from jail and then, they get hungry, or they miss their bussy boyfriend, and they go back.
See, but I can't relate to any of that shit. And I don't understand what they do, so I can't relate to anything that goes on in Blackistan. I know they be in there getting their cheeks clapped. Maybe that's why they continue to go back, because all of these motherfuckers are some fruit flies. We'll just call them that. They some fucking fruit flies.
This girl says she deleted Twitter because she seen a picture of a primate.
I can't put it together. I knew you was gonna gather her. As soon as I saw you in the background, I was like, lipstick she finna say some shit.
Oh my god.
You talking about a fence sitter. There's no way that you would leave Blackistan and end up going back. Now, it's another YouTube channel whose owner actually hustled backwards, and she went back and became a pro-black. And it's a hot ass mess.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I'll show y'all the link when we get in Discord. But goddamn it, homegirl had 2 kids, was married to a white guy, and I don't know what happened with their marriage, but instead of moving on, homegirl went back to Blackistan and came out fist pumping at everybody else that don't want to be in Blackistan. The shit was buck wild.
You know what I think it is, DZ? I'm gonna be honest. Since the primate's stepdaddy met his demise, I think that they think that somehow these males are going to somehow start, quote unquote, acting right, since they don't have their leader to guide them. And I've even heard some Black women say that, oh, I'm glad he's gone. Now these men can get back to reality. So I think a lot of this backslide, I think we will see more of this as people start to return back to Blackistan, to the other side of the fence, because they think the death of the head primate, the Grand Wizard, somehow was going to release these Nakas from their spell of hating them, which he didn't do anything to it. He just exposed them to you. They already hate you.
Well, the only way that would make sense, right, is if you would have to say he started the hate. He didn't start the hate. The hate is centuries old. The hate is centuries old. So the removal of him is not going to change anything. And if you thinking that, well, just make sure you got some life insurance, some sort of alternate place to live after you get your ass whooped. Because, darling, he didn't start this shit. He actually made a video that said Black men don't listen to him. This is when he first got on. So he should change his rhetoric to talk shit about Black women so it could be more lucrative, because it's very lucrative to talk shit about y'all. And that's exactly what he did. Instead of spraying perfume all over the damn place, he said, fuck it, this ain't paying enough, so I'm gonna talk shit about Black women. And the shit took off. And his success is so fucking, it's crazy to me. I'm still confused by it, because his personality is dry as fuck. His advice on relationships after being divorced 2 times, it's just, what? No. Even the Cali, are you dusty? Even the Cali, you're up here. And are you dusty? I think y'all just like being around me. I think that's what it is.
I'm not dusty.
Okay, what happened, girl? You ain't hear me asking you, was you dusty?
Sorry about that. I went to go grab some water. I gotta stay hydrated.
What's up? What you need, sis? What you got?
No, I just wanted to throw in my 2 cents here. Even for those ladies who feel like they're whatever leftist, progressives, like, it's not about party, it's about safety, right? You can believe whatever you want and still divest.
I agree. And you can be parts of different things, but you got
I don't agree with that. I do not totally agree with that. I do not agree that you can be progressive and be divested. I just don't believe that.
If you take in certain parts of certain parties, then yeah. But if you saying not all, and let the trans,
I am not saying not all.
Okay, what are you saying? That's what I'm trying to get you to say. You kind of said you can divest and believe in something, and then you kind of just stop talking. So explain that a little bit more, because it's worth dissecting.
I think that I came from a place growing up where I had a vested interest in caring about, like, the elderly or people who are less fortunate, but that doesn't have to include dusties, right? Less fortunate means like you were doing your best and something happened, not you have an ingrained problem, which is every member of certain groups.
Well, I feel like all Black men are trash. What do you think about that?
I agree.
Oh, okay. Because that kind of contradicted.
Let's be honest here. In the United States, the majority of the people, quote unquote, in need are Black people are products of Black men? Let's just be honest, percentage wise.
I wouldn't say that.
I would say that
Okay.
the vast majority of people in need in this country, race, is Black people percentage wise. We are only a small percentage of the population, but we make up the vast majority of people in poverty.
And you can go ahead and boil that down to a Black male, because usually in thriving communities, the goddamn wealth is usually coming from the men in that community, because let's just face it, we living in a patriarchy. So if there's a Black woman and children that's fucked up in the game, it usually comes from a Black male.
Exactly.
What you got on that?
I agree with you for those populations that have, Black men to blame. But I suppose in my line of work, I come across various families who
What do you do?
I'm a veterinarian.
Okay, so dogs. You know what?
I can't. I can't do
I'm
this.
sorry.
I can't do this. I cannot do this. Okay, let's play. So you coming across broke dog dusties? What I mean, make it make sense.
No, I just mean families that need help. They're not. They have no dusties in their lives to
Wait
blame.
a minute though. You said you're a veterinarian. So how are you helping families in need?
Spay neuter services, of course.
Lord have mercy.
You
Whatever.
being trolled.
But she's
Whatever
fucking
you
troll.
Whatever you drinking, put that shit down and open up a Google tab. Open up a Google tab and look for some rehab or something. Cause girl, you everywhere with it.
No, I very much support what you guys say. I've been a long time lurker. I appreciate everything that you're putting out there, though. My goodness, someone had to say some of the stuff you say.
Okay, well, go ahead and cut off a dog's dick, right? And thank you for coming up. Go ahead and keep helping the families in need through your veterinary practice. That shit sound like schizophrenic talk, but hey, it is what it is. Thank you for your support.
Have a good night.
You too. Bye bye.
Sound like she been hitting them horse tranquilizers.
So you got the dogs. So you've been tending to the dogs and the cats. Okay, so where does that align with
progressive? Are the dogs progressive?
The dogs say they would. I feel like I was born in a cat's body.
When she said veterinarian, I screamed.
Me too. I'm like, what in the whole hell? Coldest winter ever. You need to connect your device, baby girl. It says device not connected. So as soon as you connect it, you can be on your way up here.
I thought she was getting ready to say nurse, psychologist, social worker. This broad doesn't say
in my line of work. I see it. I'm like, what do you do? I'm a veterinary girl. Bye.
She been sniffing glue, y'all. She been sniffing glue. She done used some of that Gorilla Glue on her eyebrows, and it done got a real fucking high.
No, she sound like.
Well, I don't know. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
She sound like she done took a little bit of fentanyl and a little bit of the. She sound exactly like how them folks be when they done took all them opioids.
Ain't no damn telling. It's on you, Shane.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, it's really not that far from plausibility. I mean, back in Jim Crow, Black people had to go to the veterinarian to get medical care because they couldn't go to the white hospitals.
It's true. And the thing is, all of those problems, you can boil it back to Black males. It's not a problem in the Black community that you can't boil back down to Black males. You could throw anything out there. The fact that Black folk had to go to a veterinarian because there were no doctor's offices in their community got me tickled. Should they be out here fucking like animals? Welcome to the panel, coldest winter ever.
Well, no, DZ, before not even just a veterinarian, but what about they used to always have that one Black woman in the neighborhood that used to come and see people?
I remember that shit too. I remember reading about it. The one that died in our community back in the day was named Dr. Crosland, but we ain't gonna go there. Go ahead, coldest winter ever. You on?
Hey DZ, hey everybody, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, so you asked the question. Oh, by the way, everybody, I'm newly divested. I've swirled before. I've always been interested in other men, but mainly I dated black men. But I wanted to tell my story a little bit because DZ asked if why go back to Blackistan? Like, what's the reason? I got a good one for you. All right. So I was dealing with this guy, and he ended up saying like some really, really foul shit to me, basically telling me that he would have sex with my 12-year-old daughter.
Oh Lord,
Yes.
help me.
Yes. So
get me off somebody pass me a margarita, please.
yes. So it gets bad. So after that happened, I filed for an order of protection. It was granted. I told him to stay away from me. Of course, he didn't listen to it because he's a black male and he thinks, it doesn't matter. It's just a piece of paper. Anyway, so I dipped back to Blackistan because I wanted to reach out to somebody so they can touch him. Anyway, after violating the order of protection multiple times, I had someone reach out and touch him when he went to jail. I have another ex-boyfriend that I used to deal with way back in the day, like 15 plus years ago.
You didn't have nobody touch him because you on live, right? And you're not gonna say you had somebody touch him because you didn't do that. Keep going.
You're right. It was a
She
dream I
mean
had.
Jesus. She mean Jesus. She mean Jesus.
Dream yeah, Jesus has to get him, but yeah. So anyway, we had a court date recently, and when I saw him, he was still pretty messed up. So, and not only that, his bond went from I think the real bond is $50,000, and you got to pay 10%. So it went from $5,000 to $50,000. It's $50,000 at the 10%. So it went up to $500,000 for his bond. So, that's just my story.
Is he in jail like now? Because that's
Currently?
yeah.
No.
Okay, see, I'm triggered because he offered to go ahead and violate your daughter, and I am all the way. My blood pressure is all the way the fuck up. God damn. You've moved out of that community, correct?
Correct.
Wonderful. And everybody's safe and sound, and that's really all that matters. Congratulations on your divestment. Please don't ever go back to that shit.
I won't. I have no reason to. That's all I wanted to say. I'm really nervous talking to y'all. So y'all have a good night. I will be in the comments. Peace.
Thank you. Thank you. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Peace.
Aries lady, what you doing?
I'm back here dying laughing at the veterinarian over here treating the dam and making sure that
the first thing I thought when she said that, I said, wait a minute. So how do the cats and the dogs correlate with the progression?
Because somebody just said it. You know how you gotta mix it in. Blackistan, the vets, they have to go to the vets. So
she came in like she was dropping gems. That's what made it so fun. And she thought she was preaching.
I love every piece of that. You hear me?
No, she came in like she was getting ready to spit. I thought she was getting ready to say psychologist, social worker, doctor. This broad done said veterinarian.
I think that might have slipped out because I think she wasn't telling the truth. So that was the first thing that came to her head. And I know as soon as it fell out of her fucking mouth, she was like, God damn it, I done exposed myself.
I mean, it sounded promising at first, but my thing is, if she had said, look, I'm a clinical social worker, I would have said, sis, you spitting.
Lipstick told her, I don't believe that you can be progressive and be divested at the same time. And she was sitting there stuck for a second, like, what? I'm like, okay, you can pick and choose certain things to believe and not to believe and be an independent. You know what I'm saying? Homegirl done spilled all the Kool-Aid and said she a goddamn veterinarian.
Honey, if you don't go somewhere and sedate them dogs and tabbies.
She didn't expect that challenge.
Somebody in the comments said she made the dogs divest.
Don't play the dog. They need it too. The animals need divestment for the dams because they be trying to stick their stuff in the animals too.
Exactly.
So they need the divestment.
And cats are real independent animals. They probably done divested from her ass.
Girl. At first she was whispering and shit, so I'm like, okay, She said, "Oh, I had to go hydrate myself." No, baby girl was on mute trying to get these lies together. That's what that was. I'm like, "Are you dusty?" No, no. The fuck you mean?
I had to get hydrated. AKA, I'm gonna come up with how many lies I can tell.
Shit, I want her to click the link again because I want to see what else can fall
Look,
up
we
out of
got
that mouth.
questions now. I'm like, can she click the link again?
Right, bring your ass back up here, divested, maybe social worker, veterinary, monkey slayer. Bring your ass back up here.
I want to ask her what you drinking on tonight, and I don't know what's in that cup. Not no alcohol. What are you drinking?
Not the divested monkey slayer. I can't.
I can't. She
Can't
done
do
threw
it.
me all the way off. It's like, y'all, those people in that community, I swear, she had to been getting ready to say something else because I mean, if you wrote the shit down, everything she said, that shit, somebody would think somebody with some serious mental health issues wrote that down. Girl, if you still in the chat, bring your ass back up here.
Wait a minute, see, somebody in the chat done said Black Dogs Matter. I am dead.
But it's true, y'all. Whenever somebody is black and they having financial issues, you can boil that shit back down to a black man. No matter how you cut that fucking cake, it's gonna be a nigga fault.
I'm done.
But DZ, here's the thing: they don't have to go to the vet no more. They got all these state ran and county ran walk-in clinics and health departments they can go to.
Mm-hmm.
They
still don't go.
They don't have to go to the veterinary. They can go to because those places by law cannot turn you away. And however they get paid is how they get paid. If they can't afford the bill, the office visit, they can write that shit off. So they got somewhere to go.
Look, the black man's first physical is his autopsy.
I'm done.
Shut up. Get off this live. Get off this live right now.
Done. I'm done.
That's why when they get diagnosed with prostate cancer, they be at stage 11 all goddamn ready because they ain't been to the doctor in God knows how long.
Easy. I was just talking to a girl about that the other day. I said, a lot of them, it's nothing unusual for them to not been to a doctor for 25 years. Hell, by the time they go to the ER, they damn cancer them metastasized to the brain.
That's a fact. See, we laughing, but it's true, y'all. They never catch they shit before it enters at least stage 3. Last time some of these motherfuckers seen the doctor, he was getting smacked on the ass, and the doctor was telling the mama what the sex of the child was. Point blank, period.
I've had several tell me I ain't been to a dentist since I was a minor when my mama took me. Your ass 58 now?
That's why they breath be so fucking funky. Y'all, black men have an older. They do. They have an odor that's specific for them. I always talk about they walk by wind. They be smelling fucking horrible. Smelling like a whole fucking onion that's been sitting on the counter for a week. I'm not making that shit up. Y'all know how these niggas smell. They smell terrible.
They don't drink water. That's one thing I've noticed back in the days when I was in Blackistan. Black males do not drink water.
Oh, they drink Coke. They drink
everything, Arizona tea, but they don't drink water.
They drink Coke, they drink Pepsi, they drink the Monsters. They do not eat right. And then when they get a workup, hell, everything got a normal range.
You're forgetting the Hennessy. They drink Hennessy too.
They drink that with a straw. That's regular.
Well, in this hot ass southern heat, drinking out of Hennessy, the ass gonna fall out.
Y'all.
Oh,
Go ahead,
DZ.
baby.
Just as we were doing this live, two black males robbed $30,000 worth of jewelry from a Metro Atlanta mall. I emailed you the link to it, but yeah, while you were doing this live, 2 black males robbed $30,000 worth of jewelry from a Metro Atlanta mall. And no, it's not a mall in the hood.
I just said they were spreading out into these other communities. It's not even enough to divest and move anymore. You got to really get the fuck go to places that they are scared to move to, where they think the Klan live, like Montana and Wyoming and them kind of places. Because just going to the outskirts at this point, that's why I am so glad my HOA is so motherfucking fierce. It's like, what you're doing, if you don't have a gate key, if you don't have what's the number to the person you visiting? I mean, they be giving them fucking hell. You hear me?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not even enough to divest anymore. You got to divest and then relocate for real, for real.
Right.
You really
Don't get attached to the state that you live in. You know how some people be like, I was born and raised here. Well, I ain't leaving. Well, that's on you because they
Well,
are spreading like cancer.
they
They are.
if they want to stay in that dust, I say hell, let them.
Listen, y'all, here's the deal. Wealth usually, classically, comes from comes from men. With black men, there's no wealth, there's only victimhood. So since you live in a patriarchy, it's still sort of like that. Women have gotten their rights where they can work and, pretty much get paid what men make for the most part. But when a woman is wealthy, if you follow the bag, it usually comes from the men in her community. If you follow the bag of black women, it does not come from the men in her community. It comes from a different community. What you have here in this community, let me go ahead and cue this up so I can make y'all scream. Hold on. This is your community.
Oh my God.
Come here. Come here. What are you upset about? Tina, come here. What's he upset about?
I don't know.
Huh?
I don't know.
You don't know. What you upset about?
He got mad at me this morning. Got no he got fight me all the time. I'm getting tired of it.
Y'all got into it over some cigarettes?
Yeah, he got no rope. He got mad. I can't cut me all the time. I'm tired.
But most of y'all's arguments are over cigarettes, and you don't need to be arguing over cigarettes.
I ain't said nothing to you. Start on me first. Who Friday gets in? Who Friday gets in? Shit.
Friday is here. It's Friday.
I ain't gonna be on the handle.
That's the men.
DZ, DZ, I'm gonna fight you because you take that damn laptop and you throw it out the motherfucking window. Because I don't know where you got that footage from.
Where with no, and he had all about 3 corn kernels called teeth in his head. How was that?
Whose great uncle was there?
Right.
Y'all, I'm so fucking serious right now.
Wow.
That's the grade of men from the black community. I'm a victim. She ain't give me no cigarettes. She being mean to me.
Listen.
Y'all, get the fuck out of that community. Do you understand me? I'm not playing with y'all. These men are weak. They're violent. They're broke. They're disease ridden. They can't do anything for you. Get your heart off your sleeve and get the fuck on out of that community. Y'all think that shit was funny. I got a whole bunch of clips. These men are fucked up. They're fucked up. And that's who y'all staying around for. You feel me? Meet me in the Discord. I love y'all. I'll see those of you that don't make it to the Discord back here on Tuesday. Have a great weekend.
Good night, lady.
Night.